Let's study about hypothesis, its purposes, types, functions, characteristics, sources, and the difference between an hypothesis and a problem. What is hypothesis? Hypothesis is a tentative statement about a population parameter that might be true or wrong. Purpose of hypothesis. The main purpose of hypothesis testing is to determine whether there is enough statistical evidence in favor of a certain belief about a parameter. An hypothesis is a primarily or tentative explanation or postulate by the researcher of what the researcher considers the outcome of an investigation will be. It is an informed, educated guess. It indicates the expectations of the researcher regarding certain variables. It is the most specific way in which an answer to a problem can be stated. Now, what is an hypothesis formulated? An hypothesis can be formulated after the problem has been stated and the literature study has been concluded. It is formulated when the researcher is totally aware of the theoretical and empirical background to the problem. Functions of an hypothesis. It offers explanations for the relationships between those variables that can be empirically tested. It furnishes proof that the researcher has sufficient background knowledge to enable him or her to make suggestions in order to extend existing knowledge. It gives direction to an investigation. It structures the next phase in the investigation and therefore furnishes continuity to the examination of the problem. Now, characteristics of an hypothesis. Hypothesis should have elucidating power. It should strive to furnish an acceptable explanation of the phenomena. It must be verifiable. It must be formulated in simple, understandable terms. It should correspond with existing knowledge. Now, types of hypothesis. There are different types of the hypothesis. Number one, descriptive hypothesis. These are propositions that describe the characteristics such as size, form, or distribution of a variable. The variable may be an object, person, organization, etc. For example, the rate of unemployment among art graduates is higher than that of commerce graduates. The educational system is not oriented to human resource needs of country. Second type of hypothesis is relational hypothesis. There are propositions which describe the relationship between two spelling mistakes, two variables. For example, families with higher incomes spend more for recreation. Upper class people have fewer children than lower class people. Third kind, causal hypothesis. It states that the existence of or change in one variable causes or leads to an effect on another variable. The first variable is called the independent variable, and the later the dependent variable. T, single T. When dealing with causal relationships between variables, the researcher must consider the direction in which such relationships flow. For example, which is cause and which is effect. Number four, working hypothesis. While planning the study of problem, hypotheses are formed. Initially, they may not be specific. In such cases, they are referred to as working hypotheses, which are subject to modification as investigation proceeds. Number five, null hypothesis. These hypotheses are formulated for testing statistical significance, since this form is a convenient approach to statistical analysis, as the test would nullify the null hypothesis. For example, there is a relationship between a family's income and expenditure on recreation. A null hypothesis may state there is no relationship between family's income level and expenditure on recreation. Number 6 type is statistical hypothesis. These are statements about a statistical population. These are derived from a sample. These are quantitative in nature in that they are numerically measurable. Example given, for example, group A is older than B. Common sense hypothesis. It states the existence of empirical uniformity perceived through day-to-day observations. For example, shop assistants in small shops lack motivation. Number 8, complex hypothesis. These aim at testing the existence of logically derived relationship between empirical uniformity. For example, in the early stage, human ecology described empirical uniformities in the distribution of land value, industrial concentrations, types of business, and other phenomena. Number 9, analytical hypothesis. It concerned with the relationship of analytic variables. These hypotheses occur at the highest level of abstraction. These especially relationship between changes in one property and changes in another. For example, the study of human fertility might show empirical regularity by variance, education, region, and religion. Now, characteristics of a good hypothesis. There are 8 main characteristics. Number 1, conceptual clarity, specificity, testability, availability of techniques, theoretical relevance, consistency, objectivity, and simplicity. There are various sources of hypothesis. These sources of hypothesis are based on theory, observation, analogies, intuition, and personal experience, findings of studies, state of knowledge, culture, and continuity of research. Now, the last point, what is the difference between an hypothesis and a problem? An hypothesis differs from a problem. Both an hypothesis and a problem contribute to the body of knowledge which supports to refutes an existing theory. A problem is formulated in the form of question. It serves as the basis or origin from which an hypothesis is derived. An hypothesis is a suggested solution to a problem. A problem means question cannot be directly tested, whereas an hypothesis can be tested and verified.